Next, she's one of the most recognisable and influential figures in the fashion industry. After 37 years at the helm, magazine legend Anna Wintour is stepping down as editor of the fashion Bible US Vogue. 75-year-old will, though, continue to hold senior roles at the Condé Nast Group and remain on as Vogue's global editorial director. Well, for more on her legacy and who might replace her, we're joined by fashion journalist Dana Thomas. Dana, thanks so much for being with us this evening. Firstly, has this come as a shock to the fashion world?
No, there's been a countdown and people even calling for her to step down since, for years. We thought she would step down 10 years ago. We thought she would step down after COVID. We thought she would step down during the Me Too era. We thought she'd step down after Black Lives Matter, and she got hammered for having no diversity at Vogue. And she carried on and carried on. And in fact, what she wanted to do, she was a bit like Queen Elizabeth. She wanted to make sure that she stayed on as long as her predecessor, Edna Woolman Chase, who was Vogue editor also for 37 or 38 years. I'm not quite sure which. And also retired at 75. And Anna was just not going to be outdone.
And Dana, is she actually really stepping aside, though? She's leaving the role. She's held it longer than any other editor, but she will be retaining some senior positions. How will that work in practice?
In fact, she's been consolidating her power at Vogue for some time now, and not just Vogue, but at Condé Nast as a chief content officer for the entire group, except the New Yorker magazine. So basically all the glossy Self, Allure, Vanity Fair, GQ, I don't remember Vogue, if there's anything else, because, I think Bon Appetit's still around. They closed a lot of magazines about 10 years ago, and they've moved a lot of them on only digital. But she has been the chief content officer, and Architectural Digest, of course. And she oversees everything. And then editors-in-chief of most of those magazines now are not editors-in-chiefs, but editorial directors who answer to her. And so each magazine has her imprint and she signs off on everything that goes in them. So in fact, she's not giving up Vogue. She's just being the queen of everything.
And just why exactly was she so influential, and how do you think she's going to be remembered?
Well, she was so influential because she turned that magazine into a powerhouse, as we saw in the movie The September Issue, which came out about 15 years ago now, I guess. And the magazine would be so thick, full of ads, and she really did use Vogue as a way not just to reach people who love fashion, but all sorts of people. She would put first ladies on the cover, and she would put, had leaders in all different domains on the cover, not just fashion people, not just models. She's the one who moved Vogue from putting models on the cover to putting celebrities on the cover. And, she famously did this with Madonna and then went from there. And so she really did sort of link the fashion world with pop culture and celebrity in a far more profound way than anybody had at Vogue before.
And speaking of celebrities, she was, of course, at the helm of the Met Gala for years, making it one of the fashion world's biggest annual events.
Yes, of course, and she'll keep doing that too. She's not stepping away from that. The Costume Institute is called has the Anna Wintour's name on it, so that's her baby. And while she may be doing less day-to-day overseeing of Vogue, she won't be micromanaging the magazine anymore, like, and making sure everything's running smoothly in the magazine. Instead, she'll be sort of overseeing its global content. And basically, she's going to be delegating more, but yet still maintaining her power and her influence. And she'll be doing the same at the Met, with the Met Gala and the Costume Institute.
And she's been at the head
So
of
she's not really retiring. She's just...
She's still going to be there.
She's still going to be there. She's still going to be in charge.
And she's also going to be taking on the role as well of helping to find her successor. Is it too early to predict who that might be?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of people whose names have been thrown around. She likes to put some of her pet people into jobs. She just put one of her former assistants from Vogue at the head of Vanity Fair. She put one of her former assistants, who was working on the website, in charge of British Vogue to replace Edward Enninful. Her name is Shioma Nandi, and there's a lot of talk that she might be moved from British Vogue to American Vogue. There's also Lindsay Peoples, who runs The Cut. which is the fashion vertical at New York Magazine. She's one of the people who might be up for it. There's a couple other people whose names have been sort of batted around, but no doubt it'll be somebody who worked for Anna, who can answer to Anna, who Anna trusts, implicitly, and knows everything will be fine, and who's not scared of her.
Because she was not only revered and respected, but quite feared in the fashion industry as well. Could make or break a career.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Dana.
Absolutely.
We'll have to leave it there for now, but thank you so much for joining us on the programme this evening with that breaking news about Anna Wintour. Dana Thomas, fashion journalist. Thank you.